Near mint condition, the home of collected editions. And check out that eye, that's exactly what we want to see. Woo, look at that panel, baby. And that, as they say, is that. How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today, well, for the very first Mad Cave Deluxe Edition. We're going to be looking at the Dick Tracy Volume 1 Deluxe Edition hardcover from Mad Cave Studios. So, join me. And welcome back, everybody. Before going any further, a big thank you to the folks at Mad Cave Studios for sending us a copy of this hardcover. This book already came out in September for the direct market and book market. But because distribution's a bit of a nightmare right now, some people may have gotten it, some of them may not have. There's only one cover. There's no direct market cover for this. And this has been previously released in a trade paperback. Now, just to kind of let you know what the size of this is, the very first thing I'm going to talk about is exactly that, comparing it to the trade paperback release. So this is a standard size hardcover, meaning that the trim size of the paper, like you can see here, is the exact same trim size of the paper that we have on the actual trade paperback. It just looks a little bit taller because we are looking at a hardcover. But just to kind of let people know what this really is. So what makes it a deluxe edition? And that's exactly what we're here to find out. I will tell you that this does have more of a page count than the trade paperback, so it could be additional pages, and we'll see what that is exactly. But first, let's look here. We have this amazing image right here by the series artist who really just knocks it out of the park, and that is, of course, Geraldo Borges and Dick Tracy, Mad Cave Volume 1 Deluxe Edition, Segura, Moreci, Borges, Osman, Englert, and Campbell. And then the spine of the book again, Mad Cave logo, Dick Tracy, all of the creators, and the Volume 1 down there. And then the back of the book, Dick Tracy versus the scum of the underworld, and the Mad Cave logo. This book retails for $29.99. So let's go ahead and open it up. There is no dust jacket, it's just the art on board, and kind of give you a quick premise of the story in case you didn't watch my overview of the Mad Cave collections of trade paperbacks that I did, I think, towards the beginning of the year, in case you don't know what the pitch of the story is. But I will say, this is one of my favorite reads of 2025. It was excellent. And then, of course, what the extra pages are. And the build. Okay, let's go ahead and get the hardcover opened. And you have end sheets. And you actually have the end paper here as well. And they're taking different panels from the book. And this is different than the ones here in the front. And they look a little bit blurred, a little bit pixelated. And those same panels are in the background here of Dick Tracy and Pat. And we have some of our key players over here. And, of course, the credits. You have Alex Segura, Michael Moreci are the writers. The artist is Geraldo Borges. And then the creative consultant is Chantelle, Aimée, Osman. The colorist is Mark Englert. And then lettering by Jim Campbell. Dan Panosian doing these amazing covers, by the way. And then the deluxe edition editors, Christina Harrington, and the series editors down there. And we kick it off with Chapter 1. We do have the cover, which is, again, the cover that they use for the trade paperback. And if you're not familiar with what this ends up or collecting, and you didn't watch my first video that I talked about, this collects issues 1 through 5 of the Dick Tracy series that Mad Cave is putting out. And this is a little bit different. It has a little bit more violence. So spoilers for the setup in case you haven't seen my video or you don't know anything about this. This is taking place in the city in 1947, which is very similar. It's a reboot, right? That's exactly what this is. It's not a continuation of the story. You don't need to read anything before this. You don't need to watch the Warren Beatty movie or have gotten the toys or collected any of the comic strips or comics before this. This is a new, fresh start where we see Emile Trueheart meeting with Langdon Marsh, who is a crime reporter, and Emile is the city alderman. So he's a politician. They're meeting, and then, unfortunately, they are gunned down at this diner. And I love the way that the diner looks. Very classic, right? But anyway, everybody is gunned down at the diner. No one gets out alive. So the police just assume that this is some kind of shoot-up. It's some kind of unfortunate robbery gone wrong. So, something happened. Dick Tracy steps in with his banana jacket right here. I love that outfit, man. It looks so good. The colors look amazing. And he's like, no, boys, this is not just some kind of crime. This is actually meant to kill these two people, the councilman and the reporter, because they have been shot up the most. And the cops are like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm on the case. So we do see Dick Tracy. He's a police detective here in 1947. So this is after the war. And we get a little bit of his narrative, and we get to find out that he was in World War II. So then we meet this young lady right here. This is Tess Trueheart, who is a reporter herself. Her father, Emile Trueheart, the alderman, is the one that got killed. And she wants to know who killed her father and why. And so does Dick Tracy. Now, they're not teaming up here, but they will eventually. Their paths will cross again. Now, Tess is, of course, a character from many incarnations of Dick Tracy. And with her own findings, she does discover that perhaps this is tied to a gang war that's going on, while he's investigating different things, and that leads him to a lot of dead bodies and gun battles that he's about to see, and then their paths end up crossing. So what they end up discovering is that there's a conspiracy of corruption in the city, and a lot of people are being corrupted. The councilman, the police department. So you have people on the legal side of things, and then you have even the cops. So he doesn't trust anybody exactly when it comes to this particular crime that he's investigating. And then they meet up at another shoot up here. And this is when you're going to see a lot of different characters that have appeared in Dick Tracy, whether it's Mumbles or Flat Top. And what you find out at the end of the first issue, and I promise that's all I will really say, with the exception of the introduction of another main character in the second issue, is that the criminals are going to war. There's a gang war that's happening. It's kind of like a territorial thing that Dick Tracy and the character of Tess are caught in the middle of. In book 2, we meet another character. This is Pat Patton, who's investigating the disappearance of his brother. Also happens to be war buddies with Dick Tracy. And you get flashbacks of just their relationship in the past and how close they are and what brings them together. Now, his story about the disappearance of his brother and Dick Tracy's investigation are about to cross paths because the same thing is happening there, where you have a turf war happening. You have these gangsters that just want to take over the city, as it was called in the original strips. And that's what this is. So this is really brutal, lots of murder. It doesn't shy away from some of the graphic violence. So if you can't stomach that, this may not be the book for you, although it is rated teen plus, and that's mainly due to the violence. A little bit of the language, but mainly the violence is what this is. But yeah, who exactly is at war with each other? Who is going to end up winning? And how exactly does Dick Tracy play a part in all of this? Now, that's all I will say about the plot. Let's get to the extras, because that's what I'm curious about, what the extra pages are. So, this book has a total of 152 pages. The original trade paperback, which we'll do a comparison here in a little bit with the paper stock and everything, has 130. So this has 22 more pages. And what it primarily is the extras in the back. Now, in between issues, as you saw here, whenever we saw the ending of issue number 1, here we have chapter 2, and then we get the cover to chapter 2. It's the same way that this is done in the trade paperback. You get the cover, and then you get chapter 2, and then the cover. And it doesn't really have anything extras in the back. No extras at all. Whereas this has the variant covers in the back, the second printing, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and who the artist was and where it originated from. So you have cover B, you have cover C. There's apparently connecting covers. but they're all back here in full splash page. And this is the connecting covers by Brent Schoonover. And then you get to meet the creative team behind Dick Tracy, getting to know the writers and the artists in this interview style about how the stories came to be and how the art just makes it, or really propels the story, honestly, at times. And Dick Tracy faces a new mysterious killer in the next book. Can't wait to read that one. That one actually just came in. And then your end sheets. So let's look at the binding. Even though it's standard size, this is actually sewn binding and printed in this glossy paper stock. So what I want to do really quick is just give a quick comparison between this and the trade paperback. Primarily just, I mean, obviously this is going to lay over better, whereas this is a trade paperback. It's glued binding. But the artwork, I mean, the art is going to be the same size. And honestly, the thickness of the glossy paper stock is about the same. It's really no different. I think the biggest win for this is just the sewn binding. That's what it's got. This book right here, the trade paperback version, is $17.99. The deluxe hardcover that comes with all the extras in the back and, of course, sewn binding is $29.99. And I have to say the artwork is just so damn good. Each of the frames just... It looks like a movie still at times. I love the shadow effects. So I'm a big fan of the artist, Geraldo Borges. I really enjoy his art. I think he really makes the story come to life, and I love the story. This is definitely making it in my top 10 reads of the year. I do a top 10 read every year, and I put this on the list at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, by now it should have been knocked out, but I'm pretty sure it will make it. If you have not had a chance to read it, and you've been waiting on a better edition, maybe think about getting this one. This might be the way to go. Although, maybe later down the road, a few years after it's all said and done, they can put it into a big, oversized format. That would be awesome. It does capture the spirit of Chester Gould's stories, but a little bit more violent with a modern tone. Like, you can tell that Dick Tracy's suffering a little bit from PTSD. You can tell that he is a newer detective. He's a little rough around the edges. He's not quite the greatest at his job, as he will be maybe one day. But that is it. That is Dick Tracy Volume 1, and that, as they say, is that. Deluxe. If you're interested in purchasing this hardcover, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcon at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this book. And of course, the quick comparison to the trade paperback. If you have any questions, leave them down below. What other series from Mad Cave do you want them to do or give the hardcover treatment? And of course, if you would get an omnibus edition from Mad Cave Studios from any of their titles, whether it be Dick Tracy Down the Road or something like, well, we do have the Battle Cats Kickstarter too. But any questions, leave them down below. Smash that like button on the way out, everyone. Stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.